Joining us today is the youngest guest we've ever had on the pod. He's a 2021 national champion with Shattuck St. Mary's, current forward for the U.S. National Development Program, and a University of Michigan commit, and 2024 NHL Draft Eligible Prospect. Krispy, welcome to the pod.
How's it going? I'm honored.
We are so happy to have you here, especially live in person. We got to cook some steaks up, chat it up, and I actually learned a lot about you. My first question is, you played 78 games this year, the most you've ever played by far. And since you got back, I've seen you in the gym almost every single day. So can you talk about just like where you get that hunger from?
I feel like for me, it's just all internal. I feel like over the past years, it's just been growing and growing, and I can't stop it. I guess it's you kind of go like insane for the game. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you're a Mequon boy. Talk about like your youth and growing up, like if it stems from there, kind of when you really knew you wanted to play hockey.
I guess I knew I had a bit of talent when I played for Milwaukee Winter Club. I played up a year, and then from there I went on to Milwaukee Junior Admirals, and the confidence just kept building up and up. And from there, I decided to go to Shattuck, and we can talk about that too.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a one and done at Shattuck, kind of like you probably might be at Michigan. But let's talk about Shattuck, because I just was there for 1 year, like I mentioned, and I have so many memories. And to this day, I have a group chat with 5 of my best friends from Shattuck that we talk in literally every day. We have a group chat on text and Snapchat, and it's just like a brotherhood that you build with those guys. And I mean, my experience was unbelievable. I'd love to hear about yours.
Yeah, I mean, exact same experience.
Do you still talk to those guys all the time?
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, a lot of those guys are with you right now, right?
Yeah, we got around 5 or 6 players that are made it on the NTDP team.
How old are you when you go there?
You're
When you go-
13, so
and-
you're
and
back.
you're living with
Yeah.
other 13.
You're living in the dorms. You live in the day student.
You live in the dorms.
Well, there was a couple of day
yeah,
students, right?
There's always a few day students. On
If you're
the team.
from Minnesota, like you can live at home, but the full experience is living in the dorms with the boys.
You get 20, 13-year-olds together in the dorm. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
so
good,
yeah,
good.
you're essentially going to college at 13.
Yeah.
Because like you're with the boys 24/7 in the dorms. Like, man, it's unbelievable. Like, you talk about everything and anything with those guys. You're with them in class, you're with them in the dorms, you're with them at all times. But I'm from Florida. I found out about Shattuck through a teammate who was going to the tryout. How did you find out about it?
Well, it was COVID year, so a lot of the teams that I was thinking about playing on, it was up in the air if they were gonna like have a season or not. And just hearing from Shattuck was saying, "Yep, we're gonna create like a full on bubble. We're gonna get you games. We're gonna get you practices with teams, and we're gonna bring the whole like experience, even though this whole pandemic thing is going on." It was just a no-brainer to go there, and I guess like get a head start, jump start on anybody else.
Yeah,
going through a
absolutely.
pandemic at the same time.
And you won a national championship that year.
Yeah, that was an add-on too.
Cherry on top. Hey,
Yeah.
Can you talk about just like that season? You had 87 points in 50 games. Is that good? And talk about just like your run to the national championship, winning it. My Bantam year, we went to the national championship. I don't know if you know this, but 2013 national championship versus Honey Baked, overtime, double OT lost.
Wow.
So we were stacked that year too. So just like, what was your experience like? Who'd you play in the finals?
Yeah. So we were a very good team. We lost 1 game whole season.
To who?
Minnesota Blades. I think
Wow.
the score was like 7-8.
Yeah, and those guys hate you guys, eh?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a big rivalry right there.
Yeah. They were putting on I don't know how you say it, but they were putting on their stories like burning money before, just because it's.
Oh yeah, because Shattuck's expensive. That's the
Yeah.
biggest chirp you get. Yeah, that's the biggest chirp
So they
you
were
get.
doing that. They came out hard, and they managed to beat us, and it was our first and only loss we had all season. But
Wow,
yeah.
that's a wagon of a team.
Yeah.
So at Shattuck, I know like you go your Bantam year, that's probably the best year to go to Shattuck. Not only because it's like the first one you can go, but because when you get recruited to Shattuck as a Bantam, essentially means you're on the team. Whereas, like when you come back the next year after your Bantam year, you have to try out.
Yeah.
Right. So like nothing's given to you. There's a couple teams and stuff like that. So what was that process like? Because I remember I didn't end up going back to Shattuck. ended up going to the GTHL. But I remember actually a part of the reason that I didn't go back to Shattuck is because I doubted myself and I did not want to play on the AA team.
Yeah.
So can
Yeah.
you just talk about for you, like coming back, having to try out, and then just that 15U season, 100 points?
Yeah, coming back, I was hoping to, like, everybody hopes to make the prep team, but when I'm obviously made the U15 team, and I knew I had to prove myself if I wanted to make it on the NTDP team, and then I ended up making it on the NTDP team.
Yeah, you exploded that year, 100 points. So you had that motivation when you were at Shattuck, like you knew you wanted to go to NTDP.
Oh yeah, it's always been a dream for me. It's always been the place that I want to get to, and I'm sure a lot of other youth kids can agree with me on that.
How was your summer of training before that season? Is there anything you did differently before that season, or anything you could put your finger on or pinpoint what kind of led to your success that next season? Or is it just more of you're comfortable with the situation, you know what to expect, it's your second year, and you just believed that you were going to dominate?
Yeah, just coming back, knowing what it's going to be like, knowing people there, knowing a lot more about the situation, and just coming back with the attitude that, hey, I got to do my best. I got to prove myself. Because at that point, I was like, all right, I'm taking hockey completely seriously. Like, this is my full-time job. This is what I want to do. This is like, you know what I mean? It's not just like a hobby anymore. It's
Right.
You got to make some sacrifices.
Well, it seems like you're in a similar situation this year, going back to another high-end program after your first year feeling things out. And I don't want to jump ahead or past that, so we'll talk about that.
But I want to go back even to the beginning. Like I just learned today that you have a lot of siblings, 4, I believe, right?
Yeah, 3 older siblings.
3 older siblings and 1 brother who played hockey. So how'd you get into hockey? Was it because he played?
Yeah, I mean, everybody in my family played, aside from my mom, my dad, and my other 3 siblings played. So it was just a thing that my dad got me into at a young age. Who knows why? But
really, and you just like
yeah,
loved it from the start.
Yeah, from the start, I just loved it. I remember him telling me stories like I went and put on the gear, and I tried to skate in the house. Yeah, he always said I had a really strong passion just from a young age.
So you're a high-end prospect. What was the process like for you committing to Michigan? I'm sure you had a ton of offers,
Yeah, I played the just wait it out and kind of just take it slow, because obviously it's a really big decision. So
Yeah, absolutely.
at the end of the day, I just decided that Michigan is the best spot, and obviously just looking at their history and their coaches, I really like their coach a lot.
Did you visit?
Yep.
How was your visit there? It's
Yeah,
just like elite spot.
Yeah, it's definitely an elite spot for sure.
Did you go during football season? What'd you do on your visit?
I mean, it was just a visit, no extra curricular.
No, did you watch a game? Did you watch
Yeah, I've went to I think 3 or 4 games now. So.
Okay.
What's a day in the life like at NTDP?
I mean, the days change. Depends on what we
Give me
have.
a Monday.
A Monday morning. Okay. Strict 6:50, wake up, get fuel in, head to the rink, school from 9 to 10:30, and then from there, warm up.
School from 9 to 10:30. Is that what you just said?
And a 6:50 wake up straight to the rink? Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
6:50
6:50
wake up, go to the rink,
Get food in you. Go to the rink.
then to school for 9 a.m.
Or you do school at the rink?
Do school at the rink.
Oh,
Oh,
I understand.
online school.
Yeah.
I thought there was like a Pioneer High School, no?
No,
They don't do that anymore?
They don't do that anymore. We were, I believe, we were the first year that they just decided to go like.
Oh, wow.
So it's all the boys doing school in a little classroom in the rink or in the locker room?
Yeah, we have like a
study hall
yeah,
area, like a little library or what?
Yeah, like a study room, I
Like
guess.
a lounge, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys go to school for an hour and a half?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. That sounds like my when I played for St. John Sea Dogs, I went to school from 11 to 11:45 a.m. and then I had practice at 1:30. So what I would do is I got a membership because I never played at a gym, and I'd wake up, go to the gym, then go to school for 45 minutes, 1 class, English, and then go to practice.
That's English that he already
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah. So I was so jokes, but that's really cool that your whole team's in the same class, like in the same room. That's awesome. So hour and a half of school, then what?
Or change, warm up, and then we're on the ice, for around 2 hours, and then we're out like 20 minutes to get undressed, and then work out 2 hours, and then cool down, and then that's your day, and get back home around like 4 o'clock. depending if you want to stay after, shoot pucks, do whatever, could be home at like around 5.
Okay, so there's eyes on you at all times, I'm assuming. So like when you're in the classroom, there's obviously a coach there. And when you're doing your warm up, there's someone putting you guys through this warm up, or is it just the boys?
No, there's eyes on us at all times, but I think they trust us a lot. I think it's nailed in their heads from when we first get there that like your development is up to you and it's what you want to make out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but there's obviously like a trainer running us through.
They're making sure you're doing everything right there.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, which makes sense.
there's obviously like a teacher looking over us because like 23 boys in a classroom.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Online school, I think they need like a teacher or something.
Yeah, it's like study hall at Shattuck. I remember
They need the sheriff.
Yeah, they need the sheriff. It's like study hall at Shattuck. I remember. Well, I wasn't supervised, that. So I had to walk all the way to the girls' dorms and go to supervised study hall. But even in the beginning, when I wasn't supervised, like all the doors are open, so you're like kind of when the dorm parent isn't there, sneaking to your boys' room, like what are you guys doing here? All that. So it's kind of similar, right? A lot of similarities.
Yeah, there's a little shenanigans going on, but for the most part, I think that we do a pretty good job in getting our school done. So
yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. So those are pretty long days. And then are you guys doing long days like that? Are you guys 2 hours on the ice every day, or does it start to cut down as the week gets as you get closer to games?
Yeah. So I believe Thursday is the only day it's around like an hour and a half or so. Yeah, it's still a lot of time on the ice, but it's definitely the practices are definitely easier on Thursdays or the days before games, just because they want us to perform.
Yeah, and talk about like your first season in the USHL. Like you obviously at NTDP play so many games because you play like in different leagues. I'm guessing because USHL 29 points in 39 games. The USHL is a really hard league to score in. I mean, like I've never had a point there.
I have a stat here. He had the most 5-on-5 points for his team in the USHL.
Yeah, so that's nasty. So can we talk about just like your adjustment to the USHL? Last year you were playing at Shattuck St. Mary's 15U AAA. It's a big jump, right, to the USHL where the guys that you're playing against, you guys aren't, but the guys that you're playing against are wearing visors and it's junior hockey. There's 20-year-olds. So how was that adjustment for you?
Yeah, it definitely caught me by surprise a little bit. I feel like I definitely wasn't as prepared as I wanted to be. It's a big jump going from 15U hockey to playing against guys almost 4 years older than you. So it was definitely a big jump, and I definitely struggled for a little bit, but I felt like I got used to it and adapted to it. And
yeah, I'm sure it was a shock for everybody. How did the team kind of handle that from the start of the year? Like, was there anything you guys really struggled at defending, and then you guys kind of grew and understood that this is how the game is played?
Really? Yeah, I think our team knew that we were a good team. So I think that at U17 your team is supposed to struggle a bit, and I think we was also nailed into our heads from our coaches that like we're a good fast team. So we just decided to play from that identity, and I believe we tied the most USHL wins out of any team in NTDP history.
Yeah, you guys played playoffs, 3 games, right?
Yeah, playoff.
Everybody makes playoffs now in the USHL, right?
Not the U17 team. It's not common for the U17 team to make it to the playoffs. So
yeah, that's a great year.
Nice, that is a great year.
Can you? I actually want to know how you and Z got together because, like, obviously everyone sees us here together. We're in the same place. This is one of our first ever just live epis, just hanging out. And I've been training with you now. Z introduced me to you last season, and I know you're a dog. I'm surprised at how young you are. When I look at your EP, it's like holy smokes. But you're a dog. I love training with you. But how did this get started?
Man, yeah, you can start off.
Well, I would just say so. I moved here 5 summers ago, and I've just kind of been coaching kids camps, but still like training for myself. And every time I would find a skate, I would see him like once or twice a week. He'd show up, and I'm like, man, this kid's really good. He's wearing like a bright yellow Shattuck St. Mary's jersey. I'm like, who is this guy? And like kids were like, oh, that's Epperson, like he's a stud, like he's good. I'm like, yeah, no, he is good, but like, I don't know, I've never talked to him. He just kind of comes in, he puts his work in, and then he's out of the rink. And then I think last year, towards the end of the summer, I was like, all right, this guy's a gamer. I'm like, I need to train with him. So I just put in your ear, like, hey, if you want to train with me, I'm going to be going pretty early just to see what you're about. And then you can kind of talk about what happened after that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. So maybe I might. And then yeah, Monday morning shows up at 4:50, and we're at a beach doing sprints on the sand. So that's when our relationship kind of just took off from there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember there was a group of us. I called it training camp before training camp, so we could get like everybody ready for that mindset of like it's going to be war when you get to a team, because we had a group of guys that are just, just a bunch of underdogs, and like when you get there, nothing's going to be handed to you, so you're going to have to go there and stand out and outwork and show that you can recover faster, you can perform faster, and you're mentally stronger than everybody else. So that was kind of my plan for it, and it turned into like now like a special workout group where everybody comes back this summer. Blatch comes up for the full summer because he did the training camp with us, and like it's a contagious group full of like positive guys with that common goal, and like we just feed off each other. We skate early, and
Yeah, and we can, and you could talk about it because we were talking about it earlier, but even myself coming here and training with you guys helped me get back to where I needed to be. And it was just like such a eye-opening couple weeks for me. And it was like, wow, like I felt like I'm back, like better than ever, And so how did that like affect you being a younger guy?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely just rubs off on me, man. Like the energy that all of us bring together just allows us to feed off all of each other and get better like that.
Absolutely, man. And I've loved doing it with you, honestly. Can you describe your game? So like
wait, real quick before we get to this one, we're not going to jump past Blatch's first day with the boys.
Oh no,
we're not jumping past.
No, the real first day with the boys was actually just me and Zach. He
Okay.
Okay, I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
So I'm flying in. I think I land at 3 p.m.
Yep.
3 p.m. I land. Zach's like, okay, I'll be there to pick you up. He's like, I'll be there to pick you up. Then I land. He's like, hey, I got you a bus ticket. So the bus ticket's there, I'm like, okay, bus ticket. Fuck you, bud. But then, so I got my bags. I got my hockey bag, and it's like packed with extra stuff, so it's super heavy. And the walk from the gate, if you've ever done it at Chicago O'Hare, the gate to the bus is not a short one. So I'm, I had to pit stop 5 times, and I was hustling, So I'm trying to make it to the bus. I'm asking, is this a bus? Is this a bus? Yes, yes, yes. Then I FaceTime He's like, no, that's not where the bus is. So I go back. I'm panicking. That is where the bus was. So go back. I'm waiting for the bus. I get on the bus. 2 hours, right? Couple stops, 2 hours. Z picks me up right from the bus stop. He didn't make me walk, thank God. So he picks me up from the bus stop, and we go to a field. Right? It's like, you got your running shoes? I'm like, yeah, I have everything with me. I just came from the airport. I'm moving here. It's like, okay, great. Grab your running shoes and stuff. I'm like, okay, great. Put my running shoes on. Let's do a mile as fast as we can. 6-minute mile, dude. I am dead. Right? And just had a full travel day. It's like, all right, we're gonna do a couple exercises. We get into like a plank. We turn on the audio book.
Yeah, we're listening to David Data, The Way of the Superior Man. Way of
the Superior Man. We're listening to it in a plank, and I'm just like, let's go, Like that was like my real day one. But you can talk about the day two.
Yeah. So that was exactly what happened, and then we finished up there. It was just kind of like if you don't do this now, like you're gonna be fucked for tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And so the next morning we start at a hard 5 a.m. and if we're starting at 5, you better get there early for warm up. So
we got there at 4:40.
We got there 4:40. We did a dynamic, activation. We were ready to go. As soon as 5 o'clock hit, not everybody was there, so we went right into a plank. So everybody getting a plank at 5 a.m. We're holding the plank until our buddy gets here. Holding the plank. Nobody's looking at the phone. It's pitch black out. can't see anything, and we're holding the plank, and you just kind of hear like, holy fuck, how long are we going for? Like, my back hurts, there was another guy who had just gotten there at 4:59, and he's like complaining. He's like, oh, I wasn't ready, I'm not warmed up, like this and that. And like the whole point is like we start at 5. It's not like you show up at 5 and we start at 5:10. And we held a plank for the first time for 10 minutes. The guy showed up at 5:10.
Longest plank I've ever held to this day.
But the thing is nobody knew how long it was. Like there was no clocks, nothing. We're like, where is this?
That's why you were able to do it though.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If I would have seen a clock and it said 7:58, I would have dropped. I would have said, what? I would have dropped, bro.
Yeah. So the guy, he gets there in the car. He doesn't even see us because we're all in the plank position. So he's taking his time. He's like looking around, gets out of the car. As soon as he gets out of the car, all the boys are yelling at him. Come on, get over here. What are you doing? What are you doing? As soon as he gets over here, boys, get up. We're running a mile. So we start running a mile. Blatch is in the back. And basically that started the whole day. It's just basically nonstop workouts. Learned these from Maddie McHugh, shout out Northeastern. But anyways, we just kind of do these military-esque workouts extremely early. And
Crispy's with the big dog, so he is a big dog.
Crispy's leading the pack with the big dogs. I'm like trying to catch up to him. He's the pace setter of the group.
No, that's definitely you. Come
on. Now can I ask that? Describe your game.
Yeah.
I want you like we've trained with you. I know how sick you are, and probably everyone can go look at your stats and where you play. I know how good you are, but like, how do you see yourself as a player?
Yeah, I see myself as a guy that brings energy to everything. A loose puck, back check. I feel like that's what my game is, and I feel like I have the skill, I have the playmaking, but where I really get guys is just how much more I want to compete than them.
That's a great tool to have. That just comes back to like your hunger, because I thought you were gonna say like, I'm a sniper, like I can go around guys, because I've skated with you before, and like you are a sniper, you can get around guys, you protect the puck really well, but like you credit yourself to basically your hard work, like saying your back check, and like your awareness of the game, and just like that shows maturity in your game, because when I was your age, I didn't even know about defense,
Well, here's the thing. At the start of last season, they had 2 exhibition games versus Janesville. And for those of you who don't know, my wife is from Janesville. We go back there all the time. So it was easy for me. Oh, Epperson's playing, Crispy's playing in Janesville. I'm there that weekend. So I went and watched him play against the Jets, playing against T Cloud, who's a part of our training group. And I'm watching early, and like you could just see his jump right away. I texted him before the game, and I just see the jump right away. He goes in on the forecheck, and I immediately start to see the passion that I play with on the forecheck of hard skating. Like you're getting physical contact, but it's not like you're hitting the guy. Like you're just down and you want the puck more than he does. And I noticed that right away. And I noticed what I think you do really well in the forecheck is I think you do a really good job of hitting and finding the puck and staying in a position to skate out of trouble, which is a tool that I learned from you, which we'll get to that later. But I noticed that you play with that hunger right away. That was the first time I've ever seen you play. And I'm like, oh, great jump right off the draw. And then I had noticed as the game had gone on, you were playing, but then maybe you're getting skipped over. And I'm like, this is kind of a weird situation where maybe he's not playing as much as I noticed other guys were playing, but I really liked your game. And then that even gave me more of a connection of now he's not getting the right share that that I feel he deserves of watching the game and knowing. And it just seems like I've been in that situation. So I watched those 2 games and he stuck out like a sore thumb. And I'm like, why isn't this guy on the ice more?
Well, it kind of makes you think like, man, I've said this before on the pod many times. Every hockey player gets fucked over at some point in their career, whether it be small, whether it be large, but at some point, and maybe at most points of your career, you're getting less than you deserve. And it's just something that you got to know at all times. Like you got to work that much harder, you got to work that much harder, because it's not going to be given to you. That's for sure. And sometimes even when you earn it, it's not going to be given to you. So you just got to always be working, trying to improve. And like, we were talking to you about that earlier, and like, That's what I'm saying about you is like you're so mature because you're consciously aware that you need to get better and you want to get better. And a guy like you playing at NTDP could easily have like a huge ego, think he's the shit, and you know that his shit don't stink and stuff like that. And there probably is guys like that, you know. But it's just like you have a maturity level to yourself and also like to your game because of the way that you play and the way that you carry yourself. Who's a guy that you've always looked up to in terms of like hockey or a hockey player or a person?
Yeah, for me, that's Nikita Kucherov. He's definitely the guy for me. I don't think I missed a single game of his this past season. So yeah, I've kind of looked at him as like an idol for me. So yeah.
Besides his obvious elite like playmaking ability, his vision, how he just is ahead of the game, what about him attracts you to him?
I think how he was drafted in the second round, and a lot of people didn't think he was going to be as good as he is now because, like, people are saying like mock drafts he should have won first overall that year.
Yeah,
just look at his how he's just dominated the NHL and yeah, so.
yeah. Well, that's a good player comparison. I mean, and you play with grit. He plays with grit too. But he doesn't hit guys as much as you hit guys.
He gets like people to hit guys for him.
Yeah.
I'll do that for you one day. But for now, you just do it yourself. It'll help you a lot.
And
you got a big body too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say this too. A problem that you're gonna have too is because of how hard you play, you're gonna get BS penalty calls against you. And like my advice is don't change how you play because scouts are gonna see like that's not a penalty at the next level. He's physically stronger, he's physically bigger than these guys, and refs, he's like guys are weaker. Like you are physically stronger than a lot of guys your age that they play against, and so refs are going to see you win a battle and naturally put their arm up because they don't know. So just keep sticking to what you do because that was a problem I had, and I'm sure the way you play, you're going to run into that at some point as well.
Yeah.
Is there a specific thing you want to work on this summer that you're like, this is something I really want to dial in?
Yeah, definitely my one-timer. I feel like one-timer is a part of the game that can easily separate you from the crowd, and just look at like how a lot of the goals are scored in the NHL nowadays is one-timer, quick off the stick, not even like on the stick for a second, just bang in the net. So yeah, I feel like that is one thing that I could work on and it could take my game to the next level.
Score a couple more goals. Yeah, absolutely. I like that a lot. I don't think anyone's ever said that. It makes a ton of sense. Most goals have been one-timers as of late.
There's a ton of advanced like analytics that'll tell you like one-timers increase your percentage to score. When the puck crosses the center point in the zone, increases your percentage to score. And if you hit a one-timer after it changes puck sides in the zone, it's like 80%. It's off the charts. So like the numbers support it, and that's another area I want to get better at too, because if you're a threat to shoot at all times, you're a threat to score at all times. You surprise the goalie. Teams aren't going to be expecting it. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're definitely going to work on that. Yeah, I got to work on it too.
Well, we're shooting 1 million pucks this summer. So you gotta get there. You're gonna get there somehow.
That's good. Yeah. So going into NTDP next year, like must be a ton of excitement. Now you're familiar with everything that's going on. Like just talk about how excited you are and just like having a summer to prepare, and maybe if you have any expectations for yourself or if you're trying to stay away from having expectations for yourself.
Yeah, I feel like this summer I've really decided to learn from all my summers in the past and kind of formulate, like talking to a lot of people and formulate a plan for my summer. So I'm super excited to go in this next season.
Do you have expectations or you try to stay away from them? Like you're hoping to dominate, you expect to dominate, and it's okay if you are.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just keep my expectations to myself for right now.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. Yeah, keep them internal. And that's unbelievable. I think you're gonna have an unbelievable year because I mean, just like I said, just training with you in the summers and stuff. It's just, man, if I had what you have at your age, like who knows, you know? So, man, I just want to say like congratulations on everything, and man, I wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Love you, man.
Thanks for coming on, Krispy. I love you, man.
Love you guys, man.